Yo, hello ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good night, good morning to anybody watching this. Let's get into another weekly markup. Literally I was supposed to do this earlier, but I crashed out. I had to go, well, I didn't have to, I went on a run earlier. It was a 12-mile run and I was so freaking tired afterwards. Took a nap, had my protein shake, and now we're here on the charts, right? I did my weekly markup yesterday. This was in the morning, and then this was later in the day. GBPUSD. I got these to do I got to do this at work. That's why I brought this extra little sheet, and this is my notebook. Right. So first and foremost, I'm in a GJ trade right now. That's why I didn't chart up GJ today. Currently in a trade on the top tier challenge account. You can see GJ shorts. This is it right here. So this was my first position, and this was the second position that I'm holding. The first position I closed at break even. As you can see, the first position I closed at break even, and it was crazy because I literally, price went into drawdown for 112 pips, right? I mean, it did not hit my stop loss, but my main stop loss was here. And I knew if price was gonna come test the first test, which was a strong supply, that's where we're gonna have another possible trade. Either break above, create a higher low, and continue to the upside, or do exactly this, which was tested and respected as supply. And it did that, boom. That's where we got in this entry. And this entry was actually a sell limit, and I set the sell limit, and I went to sleep with the same stop loss, and price activated the sell limit, and then woke up into profit. Right now we're risk free. Stop loss is at entry. So this was the first position. Literally, it was a crazy trade, holding 112 pips and drawdown, but then we still managed to get the re-entry. Beautiful trade. And we're still holding right now, right? So if structure holds, we hold. Now let's get into NZDCAD. You can pause it and read it. NZDCAD. The market is open right now, so we can see the weekly close. So in the monthly we're bearish, weekly we're bearish. You can see we're already below 081,200, which was previously a demand zone or a support zone. On the daily, looks like a very bearish engulfing candle, and this could be possibly a lower high. So now price could literally do this. Next target would be 08,000, and then at 08,000 we could either have a break below and continue, or we could have a rejection back to 081,200. Let's go into the 4 hour. Into the 4 hour, we just had a H4 bullish engulfing candle, and we're failing to break below this. So I mean, the 1 hour, as long as we do not break back above here for buys, I think price is gonna break below here and sell, right? But we have to wait. We actually do have to wait for both positions, right? So the break below here, the lower high and the sells, or the break above here and the higher low. Wait, the break below here, the lower high and the sells, or the break above here, the higher low and the buys. Lower high, higher low, right? And then we have a nice little momentum zone right here that we still have not fully cleared out. We still have this nice chunk. So we do get our bullish engulfing candle and a higher low above, we could definitely get in some buys. But overall price action and overall structure is still bearish, right? So we would definitely need that bullish engulfing candle and the higher low. And for the sells, definitely below here. Next, USDJPY. You can pause it and read it. Next, get into UJ. And UJ has been moving crazy too, just like GJ. They've been correlating. The huge drop, it also happened on UJ. So it's happened to the monthly. The monthly price failed to break above 160, as you can see. And we broke all the way to 140. We came back down all the way to 140. Tested all the way 160, but failed to break above it, creating a lower high. Came back to test 140 again, and then we created another lower high. Now let's hop into the weekly. On the weekly, you can see we tested the previous area of supply, tested as supply, and then it looks like price is heading all the way to 14500 again, right? The more you test the zone, the weaker it gets. Therefore, I definitely do see price breaking the zone eventually, giving us something like this from 14500 to 125. Let's get into the daily. Even on the daily, you can see the previous supply, the weekly supply respected perfectly, and then we have a this kind of looks like a daily consolidation zone or daily range. But for the daily, higher time frame wise, I would like to see a bearish engulfing candle below here, and then we would have the full sales. We would have another little break of structure here, and bearish engulfing candle. But that has not yet happened, because price, now we hop into the 4 hour, price could come test this low right here. We can have a reaction to that too, something like this, and we gotta watch out for that. So actually that's a nice zone this is a nice possible trade outcome right here, depending on what we get. Either the break below here and the sales, or the test and that buys back up. The 1 hour, and the 1 hour, it just still looks like this is going to continue selling here, and this actually correlates to GJ, so I still see GJ dropping, so UJ could actually continue dropping, so we might actually be getting a sell below this level here. And we're fully bearish. Onto USDCAD, monthly bearish, weekly bearish, daily bearish, H4, H1 bearish. You can pause it and read it. USDCAD on the monthly. See, on the monthly we failed to break above 145. It could either be 145 or 147, or 145 also matches up over here. You can see it matches up closer to this than 147. 147 is a little bit higher, but 147 doesn't really match up with this supply or this demand. You want confluence. And then we have monthly bearish engulfing below 139, and what it looks like a monthly lower high retest into 139 for us to continue melting to the downside, possibly. Let's go into the weekly. For another song. Alright, so on the weekly, we already look like we're turning bullish. I love this song. We already look like we're turning bullish, right? But I do not still feel bullish until we fully break above 139. Why? Because obviously, because of the previous area of supply, strong area of demand. I still want to see a nice little weekly bullish engulfing candle and then some higher lows, right? So right now on the weekly, we're still bearish. Daily, we're still bearish. And the H4, H1, we're still bearish. Oh, you know why? On the daily, I just remember the daily bearish engulfing candle. We were bullish, right? But now this is looking like a perfect retest into 139. And then the daily bearish engulfing candle. So this could really continue melting from here. First target would be these lows right here, and then see what price does. But main target would be 131,500. So maybe we could get a H4 or a lower. Let's see on the 1 hour. Maybe if price could come back and do a little retest and continue, right? But then we cannot break this. We cannot break this high already. This high is gonna signify a new stage, right? We were bullish, now the new stage will be bearish, and we cannot break this high, or the bearish stage is finished. So now I do believe that we might be creating some liquidity for us to grab, because we already now have our first sign of bearish structure. Huge bearish engulfing candle, and then we broke structure here, right? So now what do we need? Now we need that lower high for us to continue melting. Ooh, did you just see that? Did you just see that? What does this look like? A shoulder. What does this look like? A head. Well, what do we need? Another shoulder. So this could actually be a trade. And this is on the 4-hour on USDCAD, by the way. So I definitely, and I do believe that we're going to come test all the way to 139, right? Because we do have the high above 139. So we could possibly get in even on a trade, something like this, right? Stop loss above this high, because there's no, I mean, we could even put a couple pips just for the spread and to be safe. And this could be the trade right here. This could literally be the trade. Perfect shoulder, head, shoulder, bearish engulfing candle breakout structure. We would just need that confirmation of a lower high, higher time frame lower high, because this is in the 4-hour. And we would also be stopping out all of these sellers that are already in the market, right? Because there's already people selling here that got in, and literally price dropped. Do we have any news coming up anytime soon? Let me see. Red folder, no news. We have red folder news till Tuesday. So on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. we might have some movement for USDCAD. Right, so we might not be able to get in these sales till Tuesday, but you know what? This is I'm leaving this out, and let me set an alert. There we go, right below 139. So watch out for this shit. And even if it doesn't sell, we could get on the buys if we break above 139 with the bullish engulfing candle and higher low. Beautiful, dude. The market is setting up for some beautiful trades. Last but not least, let's get into GBPUSD. GBPUSD, you can pause it and read it. Bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, each 44 bullish. Makes sense because we're bearish on UJ and I just remembered the same analysis. You could literally watch the previous video. The analysis that we had watched, that we were that I was looking for price was going to drop all the way to 134, and then we were going to have the perfect retest at 134. It happened exactly as I mentioned it, right? And the sad thing is that I couldn't capitalize on it. I remember the sales I did miss out on, whatever, but at the buys I was not able to get into the buys because I wasn't drawing on 100 pips in GJ, right? But if I would have at least gotten in on a smaller lot size trade, I would have been able to be up already literally 100 pips, 110 pips, 20 pips. But the analysis played out perfectly, right? Let's dig this into the monthly. The monthly, you can see prices overall bullish. Failed to break lows below 121. Created that monthly double bottom. Monthly breakout structure. Broke above this previous area of supply, and we're currently back above it. The next target definitely looks to be 138 before we have any push, and then the next targets will be obviously 142. Let's hop into the weekly double bottom, weekly bullish engulfing candle, and then it already looks like we had a weekly higher low. And then the weekly close, it closed with the wick above 134. The weekly close, my mistake. And on the daily double bottom above 134, and we have a 2 bullish engulfing candle here, bullish engulfing candle here. This definitely looks like it's going to continue to fly. I missed out on these buys, right? Because the sells were literally just a retracement. You could have gotten on these sells, I would have still been in there. The sells, gotten in the, oh man, it feels so good when you're able to get in the sell and then you ride the sell to get into the buy. but I missed out on both. I mean, I've done this before on Juju, where I sell to the buy, and I literally have it on my story on Instagram and stuff before, and I have no idea why I didn't capitalize this time. But definitely, if price can break above this supply zone and create a higher low, that could be another little trade. It's gonna be half of the move, right? But at least you're gonna capture something. But now here, oh man, forgot to click it. Here at 138, we could either have the sales and continue back to the downside, or we could either have another re-entry on the buys, something like this. Very possible. Even here, we could have some sales, right? So you have to watch out for the supply zone. I still do see this happening, the break of structure, the higher low, and continuing all the way to 138 though. I really don't see sales to where we're below 134. Peace and love to anybody watching this. Back to work.